Hi, welcome to English Composition. We hope you had a nice winter break and you're ready for classes to begin again. I'm Michael Chang and I'm here with Cher Chen today.
各位同学大家好，欢迎回到英文作文课程，我是 Cher。
Alright, today in Unit 1, we will review the basics of writing a paragraph.
在第一个单元中，我们将会复习段落写作的一些基本概念。
And so today we will review the following topics: a topic sentence,
我们接下来会复习的包括以下的几点：第一个是主题句，
and then support sentences,
第二个是支持论点句，
and concluding sentences.
以及结尾句。
In addition, we'll also review the following ideas: unity,
除此之外，我们也会温习关于写作的一些概念，包括了一致性、
coherence,
连贯性，
and using specific examples.
以及使用一些特定的例子来做解释。
Okay, to start our review of the paragraph, let's define what a paragraph is.
在开始复习之前，我们首先来定义什么叫做段落。
A paragraph is a group of sentences that focuses on a single idea.
段落指的是一组专注于单一重点的句子。
A second point that we can make about a paragraph is that a paragraph can be complete all by itself, or it can be part of a larger essay.
关于段落，它可以是自成一篇的小短文，也可以是一篇文章中的一个小部分。
Right, so now a paragraph that is complete all by itself will do the following things.
如果我们把段落定义为自成一篇的小短文的话，我们必须要做到以下的几件事。
Right, so first it will introduce a topic.
首先，我们必须要介绍这个主题。
Then it will give you information and details about the topic.
接着，我们必须要提出相关的资料跟细节。
And finally, it will bring a conclusion to the topic.
最后，我们就必须要归结出一个适当的结论。
Right, now let's find out the features of a paragraph that is part of a larger essay.
接下来，我们来看看，如果在段落要成为是一个长篇文章中的一小部分时，我们应该要包含哪些东西？
Right, so it will contain one idea in the paragraph,
首先，我们的那一个段落中必须要包含一个主题，
but this idea will not be enough information to complete the entire point of the essay.
但是这个主题当然不足以代表整篇文章。
Instead, it will just give you information about one section of the essay.
这个段落只会提供关于这篇文章一部分的资讯。
Right, so you'll see many examples of this second kind of paragraph during this semester of English composition.
在这个学期之中，我们将会专注于在第二个类型的段落写作。
And one important thing to remember about both types of paragraphs is that they should have unity, and this means that they should contain only one main idea.
有一点值得注意的是，无论是哪一种段落写作，都应该具备一致性。这也就是说，一个段落只能专注于一个重点。
All right, now before we go on with more details about a paragraph, let's look at an example paragraph.
好，在我们继续往下之前，首先我们先来看一个写作范例。
Okay, let's read our writing model now.
首先，我们先来看一下这篇写作范例。
The title is A Marvelous Memory.
一段非常美好的回忆。
When I was a boy, I lived in a big yellow house in the country, which was surrounded by a huge front yard and backyard.
当我还是小孩子的时候，我住在乡下一栋黄色的大房子里，四周环绕着前院以及后院。
I had wonderful experiences during every season of the year while I was growing up there.
当我住在那里的时候，每一个季节的度过都让我有非常好的回忆。
There was a big oak tree at one end of the front yard and a broad maple tree at the other.
在前院的一端有一棵很大的橡树，另一端则有一棵长得很宽广的一棵枫树。
We used to play football and other sports in between the two trees in spring and summer.
在春天及夏天的时候，我们总在2棵树之间玩足球或者是其他的运动。
We had an apple tree and a cherry tree which grew behind the house. And we also had a little garden in a corner of the backyard where we planted carrots, tomatoes, and cucumbers.
在后院，我们种一棵苹果树以及樱桃树，而同时我们也有一个小小的花圃，可以种植胡萝卜、番茄以及小黄瓜。
In the autumn, we picked our own fruits and vegetables to make homemade apple pies for dessert and fresh salads for dinner.
到了秋天的时候，我们会采集水果及蔬菜，做成苹果派来当做点心，或者是新鲜的沙拉来当做晚餐。
There was also a big grassy hill up the road. In the winter, we would bundle up in warm coats, and we would run up the road to go sledding down the big hill.
在我们门前有一条很长而且长满了草的路。到了冬天的时候，我们总会穿上大衣，然后爬上坡顶，乘着雪车滑下来。
It was always covered with snow all winter vacation.
在寒假的时候，它总是覆盖着雪。
I really miss all the fun-filled days I had when I was growing up in the country.
我总是怀念着那一些充满着欢乐的日子。
Okay, now let's examine this paragraph more closely.
接下来，我们再更仔细的来看一下这篇写作范例。
Right. At the beginning of the program, we said that a paragraph is a group of sentences that focuses on a single idea. We can see that all the sentences in the writing model are about the writer's marvelous childhood memories.
在一开始，我们曾说过，段落指的是一组专注于单一主题的句子。在这个写作范例中，我们可以发现，所有的句子都是在专注于在讲作者他美好的童年生活。
Right. The writing model is also complete all by itself. So this means that in this one paragraph, the writer is able to tell the whole story that he wants to tell. So we can see that there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to this paragraph.
这篇写作范例同时也是所谓的自成一格的小短文。我们可以在这个段落中发现，他把整个故事都交代得很清楚，所以我们可以看到开头、中段以及结尾。
Right, so let's take a little break now before we learn about the beginning, middle, and end of a paragraph.
现在我们先休息一下，待会回来我们再继续看这3个段落。
Welcome back. Now let's learn how to begin a paragraph.
欢迎回来。现在我们来看看要如何开始写作一个段落。
All right, now the best way to begin a paragraph is to start with a topic sentence.
开始写作一个段落最好的方式是用一个主题句来作为开头。
The topic sentence should introduce the topic of your paragraph, and it should also reveal an opinion or a special idea about that topic that you will expand on in the rest of the paragraph.
主题句的目的在于介绍这个段落的主要想法，它也会显现出作者对这个主题的意见和一些特殊的看法，以便在接下来的段落之中继续的延伸的来讨论。
Right, now it's important that you use a topic sentence because it can help you stay focused on the purpose for your writing. And if you don't know what your topic sentence is, then your writing can wander around and it might not make a clear point.
写作主题句是非常重要的，因为主题句可以帮助你专注在你的写作的目的上。如果你不知道你写作的主题句是什么的话，你很有可能就会写到比较偏差的地方去，然后浪费了一些时间。
Right, now let's find the topic sentence in the writing model.
接下来我们来看看写作范例中的主题句是什么。
Right, so now here on the screen you can see the first 2 sentences of the writing model.
现在在荧幕上你可以看到的是写作范例的第一句及第二句。
Right, now the topic sentence is often the first sentence of a paragraph, but in this paragraph, the topic sentence is actually the second sentence.
通常在段落中，第一个句子会是主题句，但是在我们写作范例这个段落中的真正的主题句其实是第二句。
Right, so we can see the first sentence provides some background information by explaining the setting. It tells where the boy lived.
我们可以看到，在第一个句子中，它提供的是一些关于主题的背景资料，像这个小孩子他是在哪一个地方生长的。
And you can see that it's telling the where and the when of when the events in the paragraph are taking place.
它也讲述了这个事件会在何时或是何地发生。
And so then the second sentence is the actual topic sentence of the writing model.
第二个句子，就像我们刚刚讲的，才是这篇文章真正的主题句。
And so the topic sentence of the essay, or the topic of the essay, is the childhood experiences or the experiences the writer had while growing up.
这里的主题我们会发现，它是在讲述作者童年时的经验。
And the special point of view about this topic is that the writer's experiences were wonderful and they took place during every season of the year.
这个段落中，我们会看到他主要要讲到的特殊点是讲这个作者他有非常好的回忆，而且是每个季节他都会经历非常好的回忆。
Right. Now, let's take a look and see what is in the middle of this paragraph.
接下来我们来看看这写作段落的中段的部分。
Right. So now the topic sentence is followed by support sentences. Support sentences give examples or evidence to prove the opinion or special idea in the topic sentence.
在主题句之后，就是所谓的支持论点句。支持论点句，它主要的目的是在提出例子或者是证据，来作为作者对于主题的看法及佐证。
Right, so now if you're having trouble deciding what to put into your support sentences, one thing you can do is you can take your topic sentence and you can turn it into a question. And then the answer to your question should be appropriate ideas to use for your support sentences.
如果你不确定支持论点句应该写些什么的话，不妨尝试着将刚刚的主题句转成所谓的问句，然后试着去回答这个问题。那你的答案就可以放在支持句的部分。
And so, for example, we can turn our topic sentence into this question.
举例来说，我们现在在荧幕上看到的就是将主题句转换成问句的方式。
What wonderful experiences did the writer have during every season when he was growing up in the country?
当作者在乡下成长的时候，他会在每一个季节经历什么样的经验呢？
And then when we answer the question, we have events like the following.
当我们试着回答这样的问题时，我们就会得到以下的这些答案。
Playing football in the yard during spring and summer.
在春天及夏天的时候，可以在庭院里面玩足球。
Eating their own fruits and vegetables in the autumn.
在秋天的时候，可以吃自己种植的水果及植物。
Sledding in the winter.
到冬天的时候，则可以滑雪。
You can see that these support sentences do more than just list these three events. The support sentences also provide specific details of each event, and so this way the reader can visualize the events better.
你会发现，刚刚支持句所表达的不仅止于刚列出来的这3件事，事实上，支持句还能够提供每个事件一些特定的细节。如此一来，读者就可以去想象这件事情是怎么样发生的。
Right, so now let's take a look back at our writing model.
接下来，我们再回到我们的写作范例中来仔细的看一看。
And so you can see here on the screen in pink, highlighted in pink, we have the exact kinds of trees that you can find in the front yard. And you can also see one of the sports that he used to play, or that the writer used to play in the yard.
在荧幕上，你可以看到粉红色的部分，作者明确的指出了他在前院种的树的名称，以及写出来他们当时在玩的这个球类运动的名称。
And now if we go down in the writing model a little bit more, we can find out about some of the exact fruits and vegetables that grew in the family garden.
接下来我们在荧幕上继续看到黄色的标志这些部分，我们可以看到作者提出来他种植的它的水果以及这个蔬菜的名称各是什么，而且他也指出来它可以做成2道菜色的菜名。
Right, and then we can also see some of the different kinds of dishes that the writer prepared. So we can see over there that there are apple pies and there are fresh salads that they had for dinner.
我们也可以看到它指出来的菜名包括了苹果派，还有沙拉。
All right, and then finally, we can see a description of some of the activities that the writer did during the wintertime. We can see this highlighted in green.
我们在荧幕上可以看到，作者也明确的指出，在冬天他们可以玩的活动是什么，这是绿色的部分。
And so here we see that they describe that this is a grassy hill, and they say where this hill is. It's up the road.
我们可以看到，它有指出来，在这个路的顶端是一个长满了草地的山坡。
And then another specific detail is the activity that they did on this hill during the wintertime. So it says that they went sledding down this big grassy hill.
接下来我们可以看到的是，他指出来他在冬天确实可以做到的事情是坐雪车来滑下来。
Right, so you can see here in the middle of the paragraph that we have these very specific details that add more images about what's going on during this writer's childhood.
从这个支持论点的部分，你就可以看到，这个作者他明确的把他在童年的时候可以达成的一些记忆、一些经验都写出来了。
All right, let's take a little bit of a break now, and we will be back with more English composition in just a few moments.
我们先休息一下，待会我们再回来。
Welcome back. Let's learn about the end of a paragraph now.
欢迎回来，我们现在再来看这个段落的最后一个部分。
Right now, the end of a paragraph usually is where you usually put a conclusion. This is especially true for paragraphs that stand alone or are not part of a larger essay.
到了这个最后的部分，通常我们会放上的是所谓的结尾句。这结论的目的主要是在将段落中所有的一些想法都整合起来。
Right, your conclusion is usually used to tie up the main ideas expressed in the paragraph. And your conclusion is often just a summary of each main point that you introduce during the paragraph.
结论的目的是在于将段落中所有的想法总结起来，并且以一个概括整理的方式，我用论述的方式来做一个陈述。
Right, so your conclusion is important because you can use it to re-emphasize the main point of the paragraph. And you can also use it to make sure that your readers know exactly what point you're trying to make in your paragraph.
所以说来，结尾句之所以非常的重要，是因为这是最后的一个机会，可以让读者再一次的温习在段落中提过的一些重点，以及再一次确认他们了解到作者要传达的主题是什么。
Right, now let's take another quick look at the conclusion of our paragraph.
接下来我们再来仔细的看一下这个写作范例中写到结尾的部分。
And our conclusion is, I really miss all the fun-filled days I had when I was growing up in the country.
结尾句这里我们可以看到，他讲到的是，我非常的怀念过去这些充满了欢乐的日子。
All right, and now let's take a look again at what our topic sentence was at the beginning of the essay.
我们也再来看一下，在这篇文章一开头的部分，我们讲到的主题是什么。
And the topic sentence was, I had wonderful experiences during every season of the year while I was growing up there.
我们当时的主题句讲到的是，我在每一个季节都有非常好的回忆跟经验。
And so you can see here that our concluding sentence, our conclusion, reviews some of the information that we had in the topic sentence.
你会发现在结尾句的部分，它事实上重复了主题句的一些资讯。
Right, and so for example, in the conclusion, you can see it says fun-filled days. This is another way to express the idea of wonderful experiences.
在结尾句的部分，我们可以看到它用了 fun-filled days，充满了欢乐的日子。那事实上这样的一个说法是呼应了主题句中提到的非常美好的回忆跟经验。
And another similarity between the conclusion and the topic sentence is that you can see both of them have this idea of growing up.
同时，在结尾句跟主题句之中，另外一个呼应的点，则是他们都提到了这是他们小时候成长的一个过程的一个经验。
Right, now what we're going to do is take some time to learn about some general ideas for organizing your paragraph.
现在我们将来花一些时间来讨论一下，你要怎么样去架构你的文章。
Right, and so you can make the ideas in your paragraph easier to follow if your paragraph is organized and it has coherence.
你可以让你的文章读起来更容易，如果你可以把它变得比较有结构性，或者是更具备连贯性。
And so what you need to do is you should make sure that there's a logical organization to your support sentences when you're planning what you want to write in your paragraph. And this means that all of your support sentences should have some kind of a connection.
你应该要做到的呢，是把里面的所有的支持论点以一种有逻辑性的方式组织起来。那这样达到这个目的的方式，就是使用一些所谓的连接的方式。
Right, so let's think of some of the connections that sentences can have. And so, for example, if all the sentences tell about events that are related to each other by time, then this means that your support sentences will have a chronological relationship.
举例来说，所有的句子在这个写作范例里面都是以时间作为连结，像这样子的一个结构，我们就叫做有时序关系的结构。
Right, now, in other paragraphs, the support sentences may show either a space or a location relationship between objects. And these sentences will have a spatial relationship.
在其他种类的段落里面，我们有时候会看到它是以空间或者是地点的关系来作为架构。那这样子的一个架构方式，我们就叫做空间方式的结构。
Right, so now once you understand how your support sentences are related, you can use special words to emphasize the connection between ideas in your sentences. And this is what coherence is.
一旦你清楚了句子之间的关联性，就可以利用一些特殊的字眼来强化它们彼此之间的关系。这也就是我们刚刚所谓提到的连贯性。
Okay. Coherence includes using words like first, second, third, or finally to order your ideas.
要达成连贯性的方式，我们可以使用一些字词，像现在荧幕上显示的第一、第二、第三以及最后，利用这些字词来替论点排序。
You can also use words or phrases to show that ideas contrast.
同时，你也可以使用一些字或词来显示它之间这个两个想法之间是相对立的。
And so here are some words that show contrast: however and but.
现在荧幕上看到的“然而”或是“但是”就是可以拿来使用表达对立立场的两个字。
And now here are some other words that we can use to show emphasis.
现在荧幕上出现的是我们可以用来表达强调用意的一些字词。
Furthermore,
再者，更多的。
in addition.
除此之外。
You can also increase coherence by making slight reviews of your ideas as you move from sentence to sentence.
你也可以借由简短的复述前面的文章提过的事情，利用这种简述的方式，再次加强连贯性。
So in English writing, you often want to put your new ideas in the second half of a sentence and then review it in the first half of the next sentence.
在英文写作里面，通常我们会在句子的后半部提出一个新的看法，接着在下一个句子的前半段再一次的重复这个新的看法。
Right, so now let's take a look at an example.
我们来看一下这个例子。
Right, so this says, we had an apple tree and a cherry tree which grew behind the house, and we also had a little garden in the corner of the backyard where we planted carrots, tomatoes, and cucumbers.
第一个句子我们可以看到，它提到的是在后院种了苹果树、樱桃树以及一些蔬菜，像是胡萝卜、番茄以及小黄瓜。
In the autumn, we picked our own fruits and vegetables to make homemade apple pies for dessert and fresh salads for dinner.
在紧接着下一个句子中，他提到了到了秋天的时候，我们会采集这些水果及蔬菜，然后做成苹果派或者是沙拉。
You can see that sentence 1 is about some of the fruits and vegetables that grew behind the house.
你可以发现第一个句子，它写到的是种在前后屋的这些蔬果。
Right, and in sentence number 2, this idea of fruits and vegetables is repeated, although in different words.
在第二个句子的前半段，这些蔬果又以不一样的方式再一次的被提起。
And then in the second half of sentence 2, the idea of fruits and vegetables is expanded on with new information about the specific dishes that were created using the fruits and vegetables from the backyard.
在第二个句子的后半段就借由前半段提出了水果及蔬菜的主题，来引出后面提到的，在家里面有一些菜肴是以这些蔬果为材料所制成的。
Right, now we're going to take a look back at our writing model, and we're going to see how coherence appears in this writing model.
接下来我们再回到我们的写作范例中来看一下，我们写作范例到底是怎么样来实践它的连贯性的。
Right, and we'll see that this writing model, our paragraph here, shows coherence through in a chronological manner.
我们可以在写作范例中发现到，这篇文章实践的方式是使用时序关系。
However, instead of using words like first, second, and third, we show chronology through the different seasons.
但是在这篇文章中，我们使用的时序关系并非是使用第一、第二、第三这样的方式，我们使用的方式呢是指出它的季节的变换。
Right, so now if we look at this part of the essay, towards the beginning of the essay, we have words like spring and summer. And so these are the first seasons that they're talking about in the writing model.
首先，我们在这个写作范例中间的部分，我们会先看到春天以及夏天被提起。这部分就是我们时间上的第一个顺序。
And now as we go further into our essay, we also move forward in time until we get to autumn.
如果我们再继续往下看，我们会看到他提到的是秋天，也就是下一个季节。
And so here in this middle part of the essay, it's talking about the different events that happened in autumn.
在这个部分呢，我们提到的就是关于在秋天的时候会进行的一些事情。
And now as we move forward in time again, we get down to winter.
一样，如果我们在时间上继续推进的话，我们会到达的是冬天这个季节。
And so the last events that they're talking about at the end of the essay are the activities that the writer did during winter time.
也就是为什么在文章的最后，他提到的是在冬天的时候他们可以进行的一些活动。
And so you can see that the entire essay moves through time chronologically from the beginning, which is spring and summer, and then it goes on to autumn, and finally it ends with winter.
从这样的方式，我们就可以发现这篇文章它的时序关系是从春天、夏天，再接续到秋天以及冬天。
Right, now let's talk about the homework that you should do after you've studied this lesson.
接下来我们来看看在这一个讲最后的部分，作业的部分。
All right, for your homework, the first thing that you should do is you should review the material that was in this unit.
首先，你应该要先再一次的复习这个单元中讲到的一些资料。
Right. Then after that, you should do your grammar exercise.
接着，请你把这个文法练习的部分完成，
And then do the writing analysis exercise.
以及这写作分析的部分也把它完成。
And then finally do the writing activity.
最后，请你把写作练习的部分把它完成。
And for your writing analysis, for your writing activity, write about a marvelous memory that you had.
在这部分，请你写作一个美好的经验。
All right. Thanks for joining us today for English composition. We'll be back with you in one more week.
谢谢您，下次再见。